Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to another pick a card reading with your girl coming at you with a Father's Day special. This was something that I had stated on one of my other ones, and I did just want to keep to my promise and give this to you all. This is going to be a what wound did my father leave me with? You know, this is something that I feel like we always talk about the mother wound, but we oftentimes overlook the father wound because we're in the distorted masculine, and because masculine energy is so prevalent in today's day and age. We're not thinking about healing the masculine. We're so worried about healing the feminine energy. And the thing with that is that if we're in the distorted masculine energy, or if we're in the shadow masculine energy, we are still imbalanced. And so this is going to be a look at what you can heal to help balance out your energies. Okay, the explanation's out of the way. I do just want to thank anyone and everyone that comes on here that supports me, whether you like, comment, subscribe to the channel, whether you donate to the channel, or whether you are getting a personal reading. I'm just truly honored to be here and to be of service to each and every one of you, and whatever way it feels on your heart is best for you to do so. I'm just so honored, and understand that you all have impacted my world in such a beautiful way. If you're new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we are all human, and you are welcome as you are in this here, now, here moment. And just a quick reminder, I have a lot of returning viewers that aren't subscribed, and knowing that as you subscribe to the channel, it does allow you to get that notification as to when I do upload the video. But as you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, it allows me an opportunity to connect directly with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in taking me on the go, make sure you take a look in the description box, where you will find links to everything that I already mentioned. If you want a personal reading, if you'd like to donate to the channel, or anything further from there to reach out, that is all down below. But you'll also find a link to my podcast, which I do upload 3 times a week. And it just talks about my journey in general. As of now, the one that I'm recording is going to be about depression. That will be the one that's up and going as this video is uploaded. So it's about my own journey with depression and what I've learned, and how to deal with people who really just kind of brush it off, right? That's something that does happen along the way. So let's go ahead and get into your prayer. This is not going to be a super detailed, deep reading. We're just going to touch on one wound that you are dealing with, because let's just start small before we try to tackle the whole thing all at once, right? I feel like it's just important for us to remember that baby steps make the most progress over time, rather than trying to make huge leaps, okay? So let's get this prayer underway. My beloved source, today I ask for protection. Protection and understanding that we can be this supportive and open self to us, right? We oftentimes struggle with the need to give ourselves constructive criticism. And times like this, when we feel like we're not doing enough, we're so quick to blame ourselves or to judge ourselves. And when the father wound is present, we're looking at things like being able to constructively criticize ourselves so that we can become stronger and more resilient, not so that we feel beaten down, bruised, and like we lost a battle. So today I ask for that protection and that understanding within, that clarity with the third eye that gives us an understanding of who we are and what best helps us move forward. How is our constructive criticism going to assist us on the way forward? And I ask that you are open to giving synchronicities to those who are open to receiving them, to know that this is the right path for them to heal, to see themselves, to be the father to themselves, to understand what it means to be a father to ourselves, not what it is that maybe we've grown up with, the absent male or the absent masculine, the absent, minded masculine, the absent emotional masculine, the absent spirited masculine, whatever it is that we may have grown up with, to remind us that that was just an illusion to create headway for us to become rooted and centered in our own journey, and stronger and more resilient than we could ever become or understand at that time. So I pray for healing. I pray for wisdom and healing. And above all else, I pray for forgiveness. Because you know that all those that raised us or didn't raise us were simply acting in what they thought was the best decision at that time. And where resentment keeps us in a place of low vibrational energy, we must forgive because we understand that each of us is human and we're all capable of making extremely human mistakes. As these words are spoken unto this space, so shall they be. Amen. Ahoase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. Let me get that set up out of the way over here by the window. The window. Okay, let's get the ash off the table. Okay, perfect. So, let's see. Let's talk about this one. We're going to get, of course, always. I think I use these a lot for picking the oracle, but it's just because I feel like they definitely do show what it is that's coming. So, what wound did the collective father... What is the collective father wound source? What is the collective father wound? How can you help us understand this further? Okay, thank you. What is a collective father wound? Alright, for pile number 1 source, what oracle card will help us understand the wound their father left them with? Oh, okay, hold on 1 second. That went flying off the table, like flying. It's always exciting when a card grows wings. Like, it literally flew across the table and onto the other side of the mat over there. Like, just insane. For pile 2 source, what oracle card will help us understand? Thank you. And source for pile number 3, what oracle card will help us understand the wound their father left them with? And this is a hard one too. Like, I don't expect this to be an easy reading, but at the same time, I do expect it to be a very informational reading. So let's see. For pile number 1, we do have this beautiful piece of aquamarine to choose from. It's a raw piece of aquamarine. For pile number 2, we have this piece of citrine. This is yellow citrine. Let me turn on my light, see if that helps a little better here. Let's change the color. There we go. Okay, and for pile number 3, we do have this piece of carnelian. Okay, let me move these up. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Whichever one you are drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And with that being said, I will see you over on your chosen pile 1. If you were drawn to this piece of aquamarine, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on what wound did your father leave you with. So as always, let us go ahead and ask the dice. My apologies, I have a sore arm today. I'm not sure what's going on, but with that being said, let's move into letting you know these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what does not, knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Make sure you guys take a look in the description box. You will find links to donate to the channel, to connect with me to get a personal reading, also to lead you to my podcast, where I will post 3 times a week. As of late, the one that will be up and running with this video is about depression and just going a little bit more in depth with my own journey with depression, what I've learned from it, and those that do not take it seriously. And with that, I believe that's everything that we have going on here. I want to wish you, those of you that are fathers on here, or even if you're single mothers, I want to wish you a happy Father's Day, because we know you are playing the role of both parents, or For those that are fathers, just welcome and happy Father's Day. I hope you have a beautiful day. Let's get into your reading. So Source, what father wound did Pile 1's father leave them with? What is it, Source? Can you tell us more about it? What is the father wound for Pile number 1? What did their father wound them with? What did they leave behind? What was the wound? Right? What was the father wound that was left on Pile number 1, Source? Okay. Oof. Okay, so right off the bat, just seeing this combination with Taurus, second house, and Jupiter, it is about your finances. Like, that's the wound, is your financial stability. And struggling with that. You know, like always finding it hard to create some sense of abundance here. Especially with Taurus next to second house. Taurus being in its own house here, right? And that's all about material wealth, possessions, finances, stability, right? When we think about Taurus as the zodiac and the zodiac wheel, it is the stability of the zodiac. Like Taurus is all about slow moving and nothing irrational, like always just taking your time to build things. So you may have had a father that gambled, right? Especially with Jupiter coming out here next to Taurus. This could have been a father that gambled. I know we don't have Leo energy here, but that is the message that I am getting here. This could have been a father that tried to, if they didn't gamble, this could have been a father that really tried to, hit it big, like, do those Ponzi schemes or those pyramid scams or whatever they are, like trying to borrow money from everybody to get rich quick. And, it never played out. And it was always like leaving everybody hurt or in the hole or feeling like there was no sense of stability. It could have gotten so bad here that for some, your mom kicked them out, right? And again, this is a very personal message. So again, this is something I felt like drawn to do. So I feel like somebody needs to hear these messages. But it could have been so bad that your mom like kicked them out, filed for divorce, and said, I'll just take care of them on my own because at least I know I can go to work. I've been done going to work and I pay the bills. And it's like, you're taking all our money away from our kids. You're taking all our money away from our home, from our food, from the things that are most important. You're not focusing on just let's build together and create some sort of a safety net here. And so the wound that you were left with was not seeing an actual provider in your life. It was always someone who was trying to get rich quick. It was always like, let me hit the next big one. Like, I don't want to work hard for what I want. I want it to come easy. And that may have kept you in a place where feeling like you always had to work extra hard to get what you wanted. Wow. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Woo, hold on, I need a drink. Whoa. I felt like someone just took their fingernail down the inside of my throat. Holy moly. They do not want me to talk about this. Because there's a sense of guilt, right? There's a sense of guilt that's coming from the father here. Sense of like, well, if I had done better. Like, they really do blame themselves, but at the same time, it's more or less blaming themselves that they never hit it big. They're blaming themselves that they could never, like, be that lucky person and provide you with everything that you wanted. And from your aspect, I feel like if they were just around and, provided some sense of stability, like, you would have been quite content with that. It wasn't about the material things. It wasn't about the money, especially as a kid. Like, that's not something that we think about, right? We would rather have fun times with the people that we love and, like, have them play with us and making memories when we're not really sure that they're going to be memories later on. But that's the things that kids really do enjoy, right? It's not money. I keep getting shown this video that I recently saw about twins, and they gave one of the twins, it's two little girls, they gave one of the twins a Rapunzel dress, and they gave the other one $100, and the one that they gave $100 to, she just like laid down and started crying because it's like, she didn't want that. She wanted the Rapunzel dress, and that's exactly what it feels like here. It's like your father was trying to give you the $100, but at the end of the day, like, all that was a piece of paper that meant nothing. And now that you're older and you understand that, it's almost like you can't get away from feeling like nothing you do is ever good enough. Like, you may work extra overtime, you may work 2 or 3 jobs, you may work constantly just to provide a sense of stability, but it always seems like there's never enough money. Like, your money may be going out faster than it's coming in, and feeling like, when am I ever going to get lucky to where I don't have to work 1 billion hours a week just to like provide, just to have food on the table? Right? And that's a discussion, I'll definitely bring that up in my podcast, but that's something that it feels like. This feels like it's just like you could put in all this work, or maybe you're in a relationship where you can't say no to the person that you're with, and they're always spending the money on frivolous things that don't matter, like the bills go unpaid. And while you had your mother there who may have taken care of all of that, because of the father wound here, the father wound has to deal with provider stability. Like, that is what, and then you think about the mother wound is all about nurturing and caring, right? So 2 completely different spectrums here. And that's what's going on with your father wound. Let's see what the tarot has to say about it. Whoa! Yeah, look at that. It flipped over to Mercury. Yeah, let's talk about it. Like, that's exactly what I heard when I saw it. Let me find Jupiter again so I can put it back on Jupiter. It like flipped out though. Jiminy Christmas. And your card flipped out of the deck too. Like, it came flying out of the deck. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my trustees here. Why? Because we're talking about wounds, so we need it all. We need this. We need the scoop, source. What's the scoop? Yeah, okay, so this is weird. I just split the deck. We have the King of Coins in the reverse and the King of Cups in the upright. Like, this feels like the contrast. Like, you were looking for someone who was emotionally stable and wanted to provide, who had wisdom in what it was to provide for a family, and instead you got someone who was always looking for the cheap way out. Like, couldn't even spend time with you, the time that was necessary with you, because they were always looking for the next best thing to make them feel or seem a certain way, right? Okay, so source, what was the father wound that pile 1 was left with? What was the father wound that pile 1 was left with? What wound did their father leave with them, source? What wound did their father leave with them? Yeah, a sense of judgment, too. There's like a sense of judgment that maybe you get judged for doing the exact same thing that your father may have done. That could be from your mom, or just, like maybe your spouse or your loved ones. They say that you're just like your father, and you're trying to figure it out. Like, you're trying to put 2 and 2 together because you're like, I feel like I work hard. So how am I just like my father? I'm not trying to look for the next fast, thing. I'm really just trying to find stability. But it just seems like there's never enough. And it could just be with the spending habits, right? Like, maybe you like to buy nice things because you felt like you never had nice things growing up, because your father put that on you that you didn't have nice things growing up, right? So, or maybe you didn't because your father wasn't able to provide for that. But this definitely has to do with the money aspect. Okay, let's get some tarot. Oh, your dice reading was so long. I mean, that's cool. I was just like, whoa, a lot was coming through. What was the wound that pile 1's father left them with, source? What was the wound that pile 1's father left them with? What can you tell us, source? What was the wound? Thank you. Yeah. Alright. Let's check out the bottom of the deck. Yeah, look, we have the 10 of Cups in the upright. Like, you're meant to lead people. Like, whatever you're struggling with is actually going to be a leg up for you to become stronger and lead people. But first, it's about getting beyond that repulsive buying, like that avarice and that, oh my gosh, like I'm missing something. Because if you see, she's looking towards the past. Like, you start over here's the past and then present and future, if you do cards like that. But always the left-hand side of the spread is the past and the right-hand side is the future, okay? Or present. It just depends on how you read it. But here you have her looking towards the past and seeing that there's like a coldness coming through here and a sense of resentment and feeling like maybe you have children that you're trying to protect. You're trying to provide for them too. And so now you're reliving this father wound without realizing it. And it's like, oh, but they need their toys, or oh, they need new clothes, or they need this. And so it's like there's a sense of money always going out. And it's like once you deal with this negative energy within you, you're actually going to be able to find a sense of balance and contentment with where you are and not feeling like everything is so up in the air. Yeah, look, we start with 10, we end with 10. This is a cycle. This is a cycle that's happened in your family, a very unbalanced cycle. Oh my goodness. Holy moly. Like, let's get real with it. Why don't we? So this is something that has left you emotionally exhausted in sheer anguish, right? This is like depression 101 for real, right? That's what it feels like here, especially with these two cards next to each other. This is also something that has created a situation where it's hard for you to face reality. So some of the things that I may have already said may have triggered you in a sense of like, no, that's not how I am. Like, you just don't understand. But again, it's not for me to understand. It's just for me to give you the message that's coming through. It's because it's hard to face reality. Like, I don't want to be like this person. That's what it feels like here. And not realizing that unknowingly, there's a subconscious trigger coming through that's making you relive exactly how he was living in your life or how they were living, right? And it's creating a sense of superficiality here. You know, whenever the Popess comes out in reverse, she's talking about superficial, everything that is surface level in the world, because there's no depth to it, right? There's no depth to her when she's in reverse. When she's in the upright, she's very mysterious. She's got a lot going on for her. She's very intuitive. But here we have a lack of listening to our intuition next to the Six of Swords in the reverse, which talks about a complete imbalance, like fear of doing anything that's going to rock the boat. Like if I put my foot down and say, no, we're not buying this time. So here's just an example. Say you go out to McDonald's once a week. Okay. Like you treat everybody in the family out to McDonald's once a week. And again, this is just an example. You wait until payday, or like, let's go out to McDonald's, and you all go out to McDonald's, and then, you know, you feeling good, right? Because you gave them something, and that gives you a sense of feeling like you're worth something, like, oh, I was able to provide my family with this one little treat. And so maybe then you decide to buy everybody ice cream, and so you go to the ice cream shop. I don't know what all there is. Here where I'm at, there's Andy's, there's Baskin Robbins, and there's Dairy Queen. So say you go to like someplace like Andy's, you know, and then you end up spending like twice as much money as you were thinking about. So now you have to put one bill on hold. Okay, so now it's the weekend. Saturday comes and the kids, they want to go to the pool, and you got to spend money to go to the pool, and you don't want to tell them no. So then you take them to the pool, and you see what I'm saying? Like, it's the concern of triggering your children or triggering your family by saying no to them when already you're in a place of being completely exhausted by not saying no. And that's the wound that you've been left with. Like, you're meant to be a leader here. Like, you're meant to be the emotional leader, you know? If you have to cut down those, and again, it's just an example, but if you have to cut down those visits to McDonald's, like, to once a month, you know, and make a big to-do about it. Make a big to-do about it that day, but spend all month saving up for it, so that way then you're not waiting until payday. Like, you go when you have the money saved up type energy. You're actually going to become a leader in your family. And it's hard. Budgeting is hard. Like, that is not anything that anybody wants to hear. And stop and think about your dad for just a second and the way that he was. If this is resonating with you, the energy that's coming through here, if that's exactly how your dad was, imagine if somebody had mentioned a budget to him. He probably, and your mom may have, you know, but he probably didn't want to do that. He probably didn't want to live like that. He probably was like, no, like, because if I'm living on a budget, that means I have less than, and that makes me feel worthless. So there's some sense of identity coming out here. And again, it's a mind thing. This is all in your mind, okay? This is all a thought process that's very toxic coming through here, feeling less than and not wanting to deal with that because I'd rather be superficial when the moment comes, so then I have a feeling of self-worth. But it's like a shopaholic. They go and they spend all this money, and then when they come home, they feel great for like a second. And then after that, they feel worse. So what do? They go and they shop again. Alcoholics are like that. You know, money spenders can be like that. I feel like that's just the thing. It's like you feel good when you're doing it, but then the high goes away really, really quickly versus spending time saving up for the things that truly matter rather than that occasional temper tantrum or that occasional breakdown because you said no. You know, okay, so maybe you stop going out to McDonald's and then you save up for once a year you go to Disney World. What do you think they're going to appreciate more when they get older? Exactly like what you would have appreciated. Did you appreciate all the times you went out for pizza? Or did you appreciate the true memories that you were able to create with your family? And those are the things that are hard for us to look at when we're in the moment, because what we're feeling is this trigger that's coming in, right? And that's what this is. But again, we have swords energy. This is all with our mind. This is all an illusion that we're believing, to choose to believe, especially with the Popess coming out in the reverse here. It's like, I'm choosing to believe this and not look at to what my strength is. I'd rather be impulsive, right? To be impulsive on my journey than to fix what's negatively going on inside of me. And that's a very human thing. But remember that this is not just you. This is you reliving energy that was passed on as a generational curse. And that's the key. That's the key to getting through it. Now, since this is going to be a quick reading, let's go ahead and get some tarot out on it, because I didn't want to make it too in-depth here. I want it to be something that you can focus on in the here and the now and to help yourself through. Look, Libra, consideration, fairness, and harmony, finding balance again, right? Finding balance, being considerate, but not just of those that are in your family, but of your finances and where you're at, and not putting yourself in a very precarious position simply because you don't want to say no. You know, I'm going to tell you a story while I'm shuffling these here. My grandma told me a story about when she was growing up. My mom and my uncle were kids. She said, I used to go to the store, and she's like, I would write checks. This was back when checks were a thing. If you don't know what a check is, that's cool. But back when checks were a thing, and she would buy groceries, and then she would write the check for $60 over the groceries so she could have cash. And that was back then, before they were able to run it right away. And she said that every week she was just praying that my grandpa's check would go into the bank before the check that she had written had cleared, because she knew they were going to overdraft because of that. And she's like, it got so scary. She's like, I started to overdraft. And she's like, because I was doing that, I couldn't get caught up. And she's like, so one month I sat down and I looked at our bills and I looked at our finances. And she says, and I got an envelope for each one of our bills. And this was before Dave Ramsey was a thing, if you know who that is. So you'll know where I'm going with this if you know who that is. And she said, I wrote every one of our bills on each of those, and she said, and I had a money for fun, for entertainment. She had one for entertainment because she didn't want it just to be paying the bills and the kids not to enjoy. And every month she divided all her checks into those envelopes and made sure that she had the money to pay every bill, to get groceries, so that she never had to write a check. She literally cashed my grandfather's check, and she went and she put it up and split it in between all of those envelopes. And that actually created a journey for her to where when she got into her retirement age, she was able to buy anything that she wanted with cash. But it took time. It took time to get her to that. When I was growing up, they were able to buy anything they wanted with cash. So it wasn't just retirement age, but she was able to reprogram herself. It was a decision that she made for her family because she was tired of seeing her family struggle. Look, we have this on the bottom. Number 26, which is 8. 8 are about karmic cycles. And when you heal those karmic cycles, then you get to see abundance. We have, if you look at 0, you see nothing. If you look through 0, you see the whole world. It is all about your perspective with Robert Kaplan coming in. Let's take a look at your cards. Leo, self-confidence, loyalty, and creativity. So when you choose to do something for yourself that puts you in a position where you can take care of your bills. Millionaire 101, it's a millionaire mindset. These are videos that I watch sometimes. And they said, one guy, he came in, he says, no matter what it takes, get to $10,000 in your bank account. I can already hear some of you like, that's impossible. He says, no matter what it takes. If you need a side job, if you need to work extra overtime, you put $10,000 in savings. Because when you have $10,000 in savings, your world gets a whole lot easier. right? And maybe it's not $10,000. Maybe you just need $2,000, right? But it's to help change your mindset here so that you can bring confidence back to yourself. And remember that you're being loyal to your family even by saying no. You know, it's saying yes does not automatically ensue loyalty. That's not how that works. Loyalty is a sense of showing up for them when they need. So if you have children in this example and you don't have enough money to take them to the doctor when they break their arm because you're reliving a generational curse, and I'm not judging here. I know what it is to struggle. I understand this, okay? But say you have a child who breaks their arm and you need to take them to the doctor and you can't because you can't afford it, or you take them to the doctor and that takes away all your other money. Now, this week you can't get groceries. This week you may not be able to pay rent. You may not be able to pay the mortgage. You know, like that's another thing. Like, loyalty is remembering that we have to plan for the future. Even though we're living in the present, it is okay to plan for the future. And that helps us let go of the past. This is part of your soul journey. I got that with the 10 of Cups here. Maybe you're meant to be a financial advisor. Maybe you're meant to help people change their perspective when it comes to their finances. Or maybe you're supposed to be working in a bank. Like, who knows? Like, your soul purpose. But this is a part of you healing your soul, right? This is a part of you transforming your soul. This is going to help you get to where you want to be at in your life. It's not a quick fix. None of this is a quick fix, you know? My grandma told me it took years for her to find sense of stability, but even though everybody wanted things, she kept saying no because she knew she was building for a better future. And then she finally bought her house. They bought a brand new truck. They had a fifth wheel. She bought her car cash money off the lot. I think it was only a year old. Like, it was like her saying no when everybody was throwing a temper tantrum about it, gave her an opportunity to also take care of her kids when they got older. She took care of us grandkids at sometimes when my parents struggled, or she took care of my uncle's family when they struggled. She didn't have to worry about it. Like, that's what's coming through here. Look, in number 33, we already have a master number here. Look, this is number 10. So we have 10, 10, 10. You may see 1, 1, 1 a lot. You may see 1, 1, 1, 1 a lot. That's a sign for you that you're on the right path. So continue what you're doing and remember to stay positive towards the journey. We have appreciate this moment. Every situation is an opportunity to grow and find love. This goes hand in hand with what I was saying. Like, sometimes you're going to have to say no. And you know what? It's not just to other people. You may be single. You may not have a family. This is saying no to yourself sometimes because you're always saying, like, oh, what if I go without? Like, you know what? If you want something new, say it's a motorcycle, that motorcycle's still going to be there tomorrow. Everything that you want will still be there tomorrow. You're not missing out. You're allowing yourself some leeway here and trying to heal this father wound. How do you do that? By changing the way you're approaching it. So I'm going to get one from my Wise Guide Oracle. Yeah, look, I won't love a ghost for the rest of my life. With number 10, I can't. That's why this came out, because it's a 10 card. But I won't love a ghost for the rest of my life. For some of you, this is showing that your dad was always absent, right? And you may be absent. You may be absent in your own life. You know, if you have kids, you could be absent. But if not, just in your own life for yourself, you may actually be absent. You may be putting everybody else first that you're actually not even giving back to yourself. And so part of your healing has to do with finding a love for self. And when you love yourself, you'll understand that to fill up others' cups, sometimes I have to say no. Sometimes I have to do what they don't want me to do. Sometimes I have to do things that they think are hurtful, and then later they'll learn that they were actually because of love. You know, and that's what's coming through here. So 10 is a very powerful number for you. 1010 is about your path of purpose. Maybe you're meant to be a guide or a counselor for those that have absent fathers, or those that have fathers that gamble. Or maybe you're there for therapy for gambling addiction or something along those lines. But that is what's coming through. Let's see what your card is. Look, autumnal equinox, release. Release. Yours, remember how yours flew off the table? If you watch the shuffle, that I had to pause the video because it flew across the room. It just was like, bam. Like, I barely got the question out and it was already, wings took off flying. Think about a tree. If a tree doesn't let go of the leaves, will it be able to blossom in the springtime? in the fall, if it doesn't let go of the leaves, will it be able to blossom in the springtime? Probably not. Probably not. In fact, have you ever seen a tree that still holds on to its dead leaves? What happens to that area? It's just dead. It doesn't grow life. It doesn't become renewed. And this is all about letting go so that you can grow, so that you can have that expansion, so that you can bring luck and stability into your heart, into your life, into your manifestations, right? This is about healing your heart chakra. You've closed off your heart. Emotionally, you've closed off your heart. You're stuck in your mind a lot. You may beat yourself up a lot. And this is about reminding yourself that you're so much better than that and that you deserve so much better than that, right? Not to beat yourself up for not giving yourself better, but just reminding, hey, you know what? Everybody beats ourselves up. We all do. But I don't have to be my biggest bully. I can be my best friend. So how do I do that? And then start finding ways each day, one thing every day to do that, to be your own best friend. You're going to see a change. Okay? So this is what I have for you, pile 1. If it resonates, hit that thumbs up button down below. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I want to take a moment to thank your guides, your angels, your spirit messengers, source, and my spirit guides for coming through and giving us this message. But I am going to go ahead and get on out of here. And until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of yellow citrine, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading. On what wound did your father leave you with? Got your dice picked out here. Real quick, just keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what does not, knowing that as you like, comment, and subscribe by interacting with the channel, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, make sure you check out the description box if you're interested in supporting the channel, if you're interested in receiving a personal or private reading, or if you're interested in following me onto my podcast at Scatter Love Radio. You will find all of that information down below in the description box. As of my podcast, the latest one that will be up is all talking about depression and what I learned through my own journey on that and how to handle people who do not take it very seriously, because they do exist. All right, so that being said, let us go ahead and get into your reading and find out what was the wound that pile number 3's father left them with, source. What was the wound that pile number 3's father left them with? What information can you give to us? How can we help them out? What was the wound that pile number 3's father left them with? Also, real quick, happy Father's Day to everyone. If you're a single parent, happy Father's Day. And if you're a dad on here, happy Father's Day. I hope you all have a beautiful day. So, awesome. We have the sun, 5th house, and Libra energy coming out. So, I literally just heard the ability to express self. Like, that's what came through here. Not only just expressing yourself, like, I feel like you can be yourself when you're alone, right? When no one's watching, but the minute that someone's watching, it's hard for you to really connect with yourself, right? We have Leo energy with the 5th house. We also have Leo energy with the sun. And this is talking about being able to be open and charismatic. You may be very introverted, and you do have the ability to be extroverted, but I feel like maybe you grew up with a very extroverted father who told stories and lies that didn't tell the truth. And the reason I'm saying that here is with Libra in the center, I'm getting this sense of dishonesty coming through here, right? Like trying to see who is gullible and who would listen to whatever crazy scheme or crazy idea that they had today. And you grew up watching this, and you oftentimes maybe were in this energy of saying like, well, I was there and that didn't really happen, but knew that if you'd said anything that it would cause a big issue. And so the wound that your father left you with was two things. You're either very introverted or you're extremely extroverted as well. But I do feel a sense of dishonesty within self here, especially within your relationships. It's hard for you to express yourself. It's hard for you to express that, hey, this is a need for me. Like, I really need to experience this, or I really don't like experiencing that. You may be a people pleaser and just letting people do whatever they want, or requesting your time and not saying no. But the biggest thing that's coming through here is dishonesty towards self, because you may have grown up in an environment where you saw dishonesty a lot. And again, I just see that here, especially with Libra right in the middle of these two Leo energies, because Leo is all about getting out there, being in the spotlight, you know, being seen, being heard, being a showman, being a showwoman, you know, like just this person who has so much energy and grabbing everybody's attention. And when we talk about Libra energy, it's all about being just and fair and balanced when it's in its light attributes. But here we have shadow coming in here. And so you're talking about superficiality, gullibility, like people who are gullible. Like this is someone who would only go and talk to people who are gullible, right? Being very indecisive. You may have a problem making your own decisions. Being passive aggressive, which is why you may not have said anything as well, because it's like if you did say anything, you would have gotten, you know, the passive aggressive end of it. Like maybe you would have been put on the spotlight, or they would have put your problems out there to the public. Like all of a sudden you would become the butt of the joke. Like this is not very healthy energy here. This feels like almost very personal in a way. Like it's like you couldn't be yourself because it became personal. Like you couldn't do what you needed to do because it became personal. You didn't like the lying, but it was easier just to conform than it was to stand out, because standing out puts you in the spotlight that you didn't want to be in. And so you may have inherited that same energy where you go out and you may tell lies. And then I feel like for you, Pile 2, I feel like if that's the case, if this is you, that when you go home, like you're constantly asking yourself, why did I lie about that? Like it's that never even happened. Like, oh my gosh, like what if they come around and they find out about it? Like it's almost like you feel really bad and guilty about it because you weren't honest, right? And you don't want it to be that way. And it has to do with people who are in your life with Libra energy here. And for those of you that are introverted, it's more or less lying to yourself. And remember, if you are extroverted here, like you're still lying to yourself. Like the reason that you do lie is because you're lying to yourself. There's some sort of dishonest act that you're performing towards self. And that's oftentimes really hard for us to embrace, to embody, right? When we have this sun here, this is a masculine who can be very like unforgiving, right? You think of the sun, if the sun is in its shadow energy, it's hot, it's angry, it's blistering, right? This is someone who would just not give you the time of day. Like you could have actually lost affection because if you were trying to be like, oh, well, that didn't happen, you know, they could have very well been in a position where they were like, oh, yeah, well, you know what, you're going to have this. We also have 5th house, which is gambling. Some of you may have had a father who gambled. That is a very specific message coming through here. These are all feeling very specific, but at least I'm getting multiple energies coming through. But the biggest one that's coming through is lies. There's a lot of lies, especially if there was a gambler here in your family, a father figure that was a gambler, like lying to gain money, lying to gain profits, lying to get to the next, you know, to the next run, to the next bet, right? And that's something that's coming through here. And becoming almost like snake-like. That's what I keep seeing, like a snake. Like becoming snake-like and very deceptive and dishonorable even. And not caring how they appeared. It was all about, just like an addict, it was all about getting that next hit. And that's what it was, you know. Well, it was a lot. Let's see what the cards say. So the cards have been pretty open about the wounds coming through here. All right, let me move this out of the way. Oh my gosh, so I have this song stuck in my head right now. Daddy's hands were soft and kind when I was crying. Daddy's hands were hard as steel when I'd done wrong. I don't remember the rest of the song, but that's what's coming through. So I feel like that's the thing, is like when you went along with the lies, they were kind, but when you didn't, it was like hard as steel. Like you'd either become the butt of the joke, or you would get, you could have grown up in a very abusive home. That's rough. I'm so sorry if you experienced that. Let's see what comes through. Source, what was the wound that pile number 2's father left them with? And I have to applaud you for being here, because these are not easy readings to watch, let alone do. Like, they are difficult to do, but these are the readings that I enjoy the most. I'm just going to be real and honest. Like, I don't, you know, the other ones are fun and stuff, but I really like getting down to the nitty gritty of the healing. And that's something that I've always used tarot for. And so, but not everybody likes to watch these types of readings. So if you're here, let me give you a round of applause, because that's something that's really difficult, is hearing about the hardships and the hurt that maybe we've experienced so that we're still holding on to. Source, what was the wound that Pile 2's father left them with? What can you tell us? What more can you tell us about it? What was the wound that Pile 2's father left them with? Okay, I feel like these want to come out. I don't know if they're part of the reading, though. I'm going to put them there and see what else comes out, because they're just peeking out when I was trying to shuffle. What was the wound that Pile number 2's father left them with, Source? What was the wound? Okay. I know, they want this one for sure. I feel like these are just kind of like, let's look at them. Yeah, I feel like that's what it is. What was the wound that Pile number 2's father left them with, Source? What was the wound? Yeah, yep. Yep, I know exactly what they are now. We're just going to take a look at those when we get done here. What was the wound that Pile number 2's father left them with, Source? What was the wound? That is crazy. This came out in Pile number 1 in the exact same position. In the exact same position. Superficiality, though. Trying to appear to be someone that you're not. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Yeah. Someone that was just very unforgiving when it came to their finances. But not just finances. This was like how they appeared to the outside world. And very quick to make like irrational decisions. Yeah. They always had a choice. But it seems like they always went down the wrong line. Right? The wrong lane. The wrong path. And they tricked people. With the Magician coming out here in the reverse, we're talking about nefarious actions, nefarious deeds, nefarious energy. Like people who like to trick you to do things. It always makes me think of Dr. Nefarious from Despicable Me when I see the Magician. It's like, I thought you said 2,000 boogie robots. What is it? He says, no, not boogie robots, cookie robots. Right? Like, sorry. I'm not trying to make it laugh. What's peeking out? Yeah, this came out in Pile number 1 too. So you may be here from Pile number 1, or it could just be the collective has experienced a lot of similar father wounds here. So but we have this impulsiveness, right? This is someone who's impulsive, rash, who doesn't make slow decisions, who's just, when basically if somebody were to paint them a beautiful picture, like, hey, if you bet $10 on this race, you could end up walking away a millionaire. Cool, done. I'm over it. Could be the last $10. That could be the $10 you need to have groceries for 2 days, right? But it feels like your father would still do that. And then come home and tell some elaborate lie to try to make it seem like what he did wasn't that bad. Let's see what these are. Oh my gosh, we have the Sun in reverse. Look, I cannot make this up. I can't. This is being stuck in a situation that you don't want to be stuck in, right? In the darkness, in the shadow. We're talking about someone who's very aggressive, someone who's very brutal when things don't go their way. So it's like if they lost, and again, I'm just using gambling as the example here because of the 5th house, but it's like if they lost a bet, then everybody suffered because of it. But not only did everybody suffer because of it, it's like in turn they had to listen to this dishonesty that came from it, like trying to make excuses as to why everybody was struggling, to make excuses as to why everybody was going down this road. And so this feels like, again, not being able to see the truth. And then just being immature. Someone who's very immature about it. Like when we have the Page of Wands coming out, yes, it can be about inspiration, but we are talking shadow energy here. And so for it to be present here, we're talking about inspiration to be immature. That's what it's talking about here, especially next to the Sun. And this is Leo energy. We have Leo, and then we have Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. So you could be dealing with an Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. I am getting Aries energy is the one that's really standing out for some reason, but we do have a ton of Leo energy out on the table. So it could very well be a Leo. So let's see. I'm going to put these over here. Let's see what your other cards are. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this makes sense, right? The father wound is lack of nurturing and caring. And that's interesting that it would come out towards the father wound, but it's like almost like because maybe you as a family, like your mom and your siblings and you were all put in a position where you had to just give up caring what they had to say. Right? It was like, "Oh, here we go again." And so it put you in this position where it was like being ill-hearted towards them, towards their superficial life. And so now you're very untrusting of others because you don't trust yourself. And I love that we start with the Four of Wands here, because the Four of Wands does talk about letting go of the past, and it's in the past position here. So we have letting go of the past and finding a new sense of stability, being able to move forward, even if it does feel fresh, even if it does feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. But releasing this idea that everybody is out to take your money, or that everybody is out to lie to you, or that you're in a position where you have to lie to others. What would it take to give that honesty to yourself? Let's not put other people in the mix right now, okay? Because that's a lot. That's a lot to say. You have to be honest to yourself, plus you have to be honest to everybody else. Like, that's a lot. Let's just start with being honest to self first. Like, what's it going to take for you to begin to be completely 100% open and honest with yourself? No lies, no secrets, no trying to convince yourself of something that's not really there. What's it going to take? Because right now, with the Popess in the reverse, yes, we do talk about superficial energy, but she's also connected to dualism with the number 2. And in the reverse, we're talking about shadow. Living in shadow, but living in shadow when it comes to your love, when it comes to your relationships, with the Queen of Cups coming out next to her. Living in this place of feeling like you always have to, it's almost like I have to hurt others before they hurt me. And it's the generational curse that you're living. That's where the dishonesty comes from, because you don't trust yourself to connect with honest people, because you've never, maybe you've never experienced that in your life. Maybe you have, but there's this possibility that you were never able to let that in your life because you experienced so much as a child, someone who couldn't shine the light on you, and instead shine the light in the shadow and let the shadow consume it, right? It's like putting a candle into a glass of water. What's going to happen? It's going to go out. And no matter how many times you light it, if you're convinced that one time you put it in the water, it's going to stay lit, except for that one candle. I know there's like a flare out there that stays lit underwater. I know, I've seen it. It's cool. But we're talking about regular, like that candle right there. If I put water on it, it's going to go out. It's not going to stay lit. There's nothing that will keep it lit because water extinguishes the flame. And that's what's going on here. It's almost like you had a father who always believed that one time was just going to be that one time. Whether that was getting people to believe him into the scale of shooting him into some sort of popularity. You know, when we talk about the sun, it's about being seen. This is the father in the planetary alignment. The sun is the father, right? The moon is the mother. So you have the father coming through here being well understood that this is a father wound, but it's a self-sabotaging. It's like you're the one that gets in your own way without realizing it. It's like fighting this idea. Yes, it could have to do with money. Maybe you've inherited that. If you gamble too, maybe you've inherited that belief. But really what I feel is coming through here is that it's this lack, with the Queen of Cups being here in the middle. It's this lack of giving yourself to another person completely. So even if you were in a relationship, you are in a relationship, or you may be in a relationship, until you learn to trust yourself, you're always going to give just a percentage of yourself. Like, no one's ever going to get to know you wholeheartedly because of this dishonesty in your family with your father. Right? And so that's the wound that's coming through here. It's like a fear of having a broken heart by gifting yourself. And that's what needs to be let go of here with the Four of Wands starting your reading. It's saying this is energy that you're ready to let go of, even if you might not feel up to it just yet. Like, it's the healing is coming. Okay, like there's something that's going to happen that's going to help you get through to the healing part of this. And through that, you have to be open-minded enough to really accept that it's coming. You know, it could be this reading is what takes you to the next step. But it could also just be something that happens in life where you're like, whoa, like maybe you fall in love with somebody, or maybe you fall in love with a friend, or, you know, you want somebody to be in your life and you really don't want to be in this position of lying. I keep hearing lie, cheat, and steal. I think there's a song there's probably plenty of songs that talk about that. Look, we have house 10, and I cannot make this up. This is connected to Saturn energy, which is also connected to Capricorn, which is the father of the zodiac. This house actually talks about fatherhood. So we're having these very clear synchronicities coming through on your reading. We're talking about structure, discipline, life, mission, accomplishment, and career. Right? So we're focusing on your structure and your discipline with self and helping you to find out what is your purpose. I feel like there's a sense of loss here. You're not able to find direction in your life because there's this sense of loss and not knowing, because, you know, when you grow up around liars, it puts you in a position where it's like, makes you believe, especially as a kid, it makes you believe that everybody lies. So what's the point? And it's not to say that everybody doesn't lie, because I feel like that's just human nature. We're all going to tell fibs here and there. But what's important is when we become honest with ourselves. When we become so honest with ourselves, we put ourselves in a position to tell the truth to everyone else, which then shines the spotlight on other people. Are they telling the truth? It allows you to have very clear discernment moving forward. Now this flipped over here for you. Pile 2, we have number 12. 12 is all about your perspective. But look at this. We have faith. Trust your faith in the situation. Having faith that you will come to where you need to come to. And right now you are exactly where you're meant to be. There is a huge transformation here. This absolutely points at it. Like you're being carried away by butterflies here. You're being changed. Something is changing within this energy to help you overcome it. Yeah, what did I say? Maybe there's someone you love. We have a spiritual connection coming through here. Relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. And you realize that if I don't love myself, if I don't be honest with myself, like I can never give to this person the way that I want to. Right? So there's an awakening happening here as well. What a synchronistic energy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, it's so cool. Actually, this is a really good reading. Whoa, that is way too many, source. I just want one. I don't want the whole stack. Okay. I feel like they want this one. Is that the one you want? Let me try and let me shuffle one more time. Wait, hold on. Did I put those in backwards? Yes, of course I did. Okay. Okay, so with that being said, maybe it's not about doing what you want to do. It's about doing what you are meant to do. This is so profound with your reading. Because that's the thing. It's like the lies come from what you want to do, right? I want to be someone I'm not. I want to appear a way that I'm not. I want to XYZ. But that's not what you were meant to do. You're meant to be honest and be truthful to yourself first and foremost. We're not putting another person here. Okay, we do have that energy of maybe another person coming in. Right? Like we have sometimes you find the strength to do what scares you the most. If you believe your life will be better because of it. You're about to change. I don't think you're aware of what's coming in to change for you or how it's going to change you. But it has to do with being honest with yourself. Look, we have earth, persistence, patience, and practicality. This is not a change that is going to happen overnight. This is going to be you making progress by persistently showing up to stay honest with yourself, right? Discipline. We had discipline come out on the bottom of the deck with house 10. There's a sense of you finding a sense of discipline here to be honest to yourself. Bless you. Zobed just sneezed. Look, I cannot make this stuff up. We have Orca's songlines here. This is a generational curse that you were sent to heal, right? You had a lot of people around you who did the same things. And look at how different you are here. This little child asleep on the ocean floor, like trying to figure out, why don't I fit in? And there's a sense of making yourself fit in by trying to do the same things of these people that you were never meant to do. Songlines literally talks about this is something that was passed down from generation to generation to generation, and now you have the opportunity to heal it if you make a choice, right? We have 3 and 3 coming out together. 33 is a master number. It's all about creation. It's talking about your angels are here. All right, and then this card, number 36. Interesting. I thought I saw 36 somewhere else, but no, maybe not. Anyways, 36, it says being human is living in that in-between space, in between really good and really bad. I understand why this card wanted to come out now. Because I feel like you beat yourself up. Like if you're not 100% perfect, then you give up on your discipline. And it's just saying like you're not a robot. Like you're never going to be 100% perfect. 2424 is a powerful number for you. There's this energy coming in of saying that you have to find balance. Sometimes you are going to lie. Sometimes you are going to be closed off. That's human. But also, can you counteract that by allowing yourself to be more open to honesty and more open to open-heartedness, right? Bringing this situation to a close of believing that there's only one or good. The duality, right? There's only right or wrong. There's only yes or no. There's only good or bad. Like that's it. There's so much more to it than that, right? There's all this in-between space. Let's see what your card is. Communion, eagle. So the wound that this has left you with is communion is all about opening yourself up to talking to source through different revenues here, whether that's through nature, through birds, through trees, through plants, through animals, through your dog, your cat, your reptile. Excuse me. But being able to come back to your own sense of wisdom here. And finding out what is the right path for you to take, because it's been muddled by all this energy coming in. You have the sun here, but look, it's just so frosty in the back here. It's not able to even shine its bright light here because there's so much other stuff that's clouding your light. Trying to be like someone else, trying to be something that you're not, and wondering why you never fit in. It's like, that sense of trying to be the person that you needed to be so that you could protect yourself. But now you're no longer a child in need of protecting yourself and reminding yourself of that. I'm not in this position anymore where I have to lie just so that I don't get attacked, or to lie so that I don't get, put on blast. It's like now I'm in a position where I can do what I need to do because it's the right thing to do for myself, which is different for everybody, right? So I hope that this helps. This is what I have for you. If it resonated, make sure you leave a thumbs up button down below. I'm asking you, Pile 2, to leave a blue heart in the comments below so that you know that you're not the only one here for Pile 2, because this one was hard. This one was rough. So I am going to go ahead and leave it there, though. I want to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this message. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, though, and until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to pile number 3, if you chose this carnelian, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is your pile on what wound did your father leave you with. I'll check this out at the end. Keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what does not. Knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it does allow me an opportunity to directly connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, getting a personal reading, or following me on over to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio, you will find all of that information down below in the description box on how to contact me, how to donate, and how to link up with my Spotify. And I just want to thank you for everyone that's here. If you're interested, the newest podcast is going to be all about depression and what I myself have experienced, and also how to deal with people who don't really believe in it or who don't take it seriously, because they do exist. So with that being said, let's get into your reading and start with the dice and find out what was the father wound that Pile 3's father left them with, Source. What was the wound that Pile 3's father left them with? First, what can you tell us about the wound that pile 3's father left them with? What do we need to know, Source? It is raining right now. So we have 8th house Leo, and I believe we have South Node here. Yes, South Node. Woo. Okay, this is already going to be... I can already feel it. Feel it in my nuggets. So when we have 8th house, we have karma. Like that's it. Okay? This is like your karma about how you appear to others, how you present yourself to others, especially in dating, with Leo right here next to the 8th house, okay? This is energy. This is interesting. This is very interesting energy. This is also spiritual disconnection with 8th house coming through. Because when we talk about 8th house, it's all things occult, right? All things that are hidden, mysterious. And so there may have been a sense of your father believing that everything was black and white and that there was no in between. It was like either my way or the highway, and you don't do anything else. And they never were willing to change, like never willing to try something different, right? And so it kind of left you with a fear. You guys might hear the rain, okay? It might have left you with this fear of actually trying to transform your life. They were supposed to leave you with a legacy here, but instead they left you with these energies of jealousy, of deep fear, deep-rooted fears coming through here, feeling danger. Like there's always dangers going on here. And, feeling obsessed about certain things that really may not have been yours to be obsessed about. Okay? A lot of secrets, though. I feel like you also keep secrets from people. It may not be intentional. It's just something that you learned because you saw your father keep secrets, or maybe you would go with your father and your father would be like, don't tell your mom. Why do right now I'm seeing that commercial. If you remember that commercial where the mom and the dad would take the kids, they had the 3 kids, and it was for a car. I can't remember what car it was, like a Toyota 4Runner or something like that. And they had the 3 kids, and the mom was always at home, and the dad was taking the kids to do stuff, right? And the one I remember is the dad is in the front seat, and all the 3 kids are in the back, and they're sharing a sundae that is seriously the size of an enlarged bowl. Like, it is so big. It's like this big. It was huge, right? And they're all 3 sharing the bowl. And he turns around and he looks at him and he says, don't tell your mom. And then at the very end, the mom takes the 2 oldest kids out parasailing, and he's the oldest one. He looks at her, he's like, don't tell dad. And she goes, yeah, don't tell dad. And so, like, that's the type of energy that's coming through here. It's like, whereas it was funny in the commercial, but how real that can be. And that's not funny in real life. Like, that's not something that anybody wants to be a part of. I also feel like there's a lot of pride and wanting to be the center of attention here. Very vain and egotistical, dominating, like trying to build some sense of fame, but not knowing how to go about it, right? So it's like wanting to leave a legacy, but not for you, for self. Like, this feels very much like, I want it for myself. I want a legacy for myself. And so you may be struggling to try and leave a legacy in your own life, right? With the South Node here, or not even trying. Like, it's kind of these 2 ends here. It's like, or maybe somewhere in the middle, like where you want to, but you don't know what to do. And I feel like for those of you, it's like, this is a fear for you. It's like, you're meant to do something bigger, but it's like you don't know how to go about it because it's like feeling like you're always standing in the shadow of your father. That's the wound here, is not being able to come up out of the South Node. Like, a fear of, if I do better than my dad, then what's going to happen? Like, how's my dad going to treat me? Or if he's still here, right? And if he's not here, it's like that fear of, like, I don't want to dishonor his memory by becoming better, becoming richer, becoming an actual legacy, like leaving an actual legacy for my family. I don't want to do that and dishonor his memory. And so there's like this fear that's attached to your father. You may have, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, okay? But I'm going to explain why I'm saying this here. You may have wetted the bed when you were a child, okay? And the reason I say that is because wetting the bed is fear of father. Like, in the spiritual community, when we break it down, wetting the bed is fear of father. And so there's this fear that's coming through. It's like fearing your father's actions. He could have very much been narcissistic. You could have been dealing with a covert narcissist. This is someone who, when things didn't go their way, everyone suffered. It's like he became so hot and manipulative, and it was like turned into a really big fear. And so there's this energy coming through with you, is that the wound is that that's what's familiar. And so you may find yourself in relationships and friendships that mirror that, where when they get heated, it's all about them and nothing else. And yet they cannot look to you. Like, if you have a problem or you have something that happens to you, they're not reciprocal of that energy, right? Like, it's like, you know what, I don't give a damn if you're the one that's suffering. That's what's coming through. Because I keep hearing this song, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Like, that's real. And not, it feels very sinister, you know, like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, that's what I'm hearing, but it feels very sinister. It's not like welcoming or like a joke. It's literal. It's like very literal. Like, I just don't care. I don't care. If you're having a bad day, I don't care. If I'm having a bad day, everybody needs to care. And so there's this fear that's rooted with the father wound here. It's the fear of having to deal with everybody in life like this, that everybody's gonna scorch you whenever they're having a bad day, and that you have to continue to be unheard. You know, with the 8th house and secrets here, it's like you're very closed off to sharing anything with anybody, because who knows what that's going to trigger in another person, and how is that going to affect me? How's the retribution on that going to be? That's what it feels like here. Let's get some oracles. Wow. Yeah. Let's get some tarot on it for you, pile 3. So for pile 3 source, what was the wound that pile 3's father left them with? What information can you give us? What more can you tell us? This is meant for you to heal. Like with South Node coming out here, this is telling me this is what you're meant to heal. And that's scary, because it feels so familiar to you. It's hard to leave what we're familiar with, you know? It's hard to rewrite our mindsets. It's hard to rewrite what we've experienced our whole lives. But it's just a slow, steady pace, right? When I hear that Adam Sandler song, at a medium pace, like, I know it's a dirty song, and I'm sorry to bring it up on here. It's, if you know what I'm talking about, though, I just feel like that's the thing. It's like Source is just showing me that, like, this is something that you just have to keep stepping, you know? What's that song? I'm stepping into the light. Oh, who sings that? It was on Legacies. Y'all watch that show. It's like the 3rd installment of the Vampire Diaries. It's Legacies. Anyways, she sang the song in there. She's talking about, like, I was scared and I was hiding in the shadow. Standing in the shadows. Oh my gosh, how does that song go right now? It's like, but she didn't even know why. Like, she didn't even know why she was standing in the shadows. And it's like, this is your why. This is why you're not willing to put yourself out there. It's because, you know, this, it's almost like this fear of, it's like, I don't want to throw dirt on my father or on my father's memory. Like, I don't want to do that. Oh, and while I'm here, I apologize, I didn't say this at the beginning. I just want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. If you're a single mom or if you're dad on here, happy Father's Day. Just sending out some love, y'all. But yeah, there's this want of not wanting to put, like, dirt on them because you did better than they did. But let me tell you, let me just break it down for you, pile 3, just for a second here. Let's just hold up. You know what? If that's really how a father acts towards their child, then they're missing the point of life. Our children come out after us because they're meant to do better than us. No matter how good you get in life, your hope and your prayer on your child should be that they do 10 times better than you. So if you're put in a position where you feel afraid of doing better than those that came before you, then we've missed the point. Right? That's the parent has missed the point to instill in the child that hope that they can do better. There's a quote that I'm bringing up here that I really feel is connected to your pile. It's, we don't inherit the land from our forefathers. We borrow the land from our children. Think about that for just a second. Just a second. Because once you're dead and gone, that's it. You're dead and gone. It's those that live after you that carry the weight of the world. What's the wound that Pile 3's father left them with, Source? Okay, thank you. What's the wound that Pile 3's father left them with? I feel like your dad is really conceited. Like, I'm getting narcissistic energy, but I also feel like very conceited. Like, no one does better than they do. Like, I'm the it person, right? Narcissism aside, this is just very conceited energy. Yeah. Very hopeless. Like, look at this. We have the star coming out in the reverse. And on the bottom, the Ace of Wands. This is someone who wants you to be, or has always wanted you to be, a self-sabotager. Like, your dad always wanted you to fail and never gave back to you. Right? Never gave back to you, because seeing you fall apart made them feel strong. Your light has always shined brighter than theirs. And this is something that, like, is really rough when it comes to parents. It's like, you should want your kid to outshine you. That's the whole purpose of having kids. It's not just to have a family. It's to know that, you know, you don't want them to struggle the way that they did. And it's not necessarily always up to you to prevent them from struggling. They have to find their own way. But if you're constantly in a place where you're trying to beat your kids down because you're so afraid that they're actually going to succeed where you did not, then what happens? You create fearful people in the world. And with that many fearful people in the world, then we conform to whatever happens because no one's brave enough to take a stand. And that's what I feel like you're fighting with right now, is taking a stand, not just for others, though. This is for self. But this is spiritual defeat. Didn't I say, like, it feels like your dad spiritually disconnected you? I feel like I said that at the beginning. This feels very like a spiritual disconnection. With the Chariot coming out in the reverse here, that is clarifying that feeling that I got. This is something that leaves you spiritually disconnected. This is like, it's almost like you have gifts. Okay, like, this is the example they're giving me. Like, you have spiritual gifts and your dad does not. It's not that he doesn't, okay? It's just that he doesn't know how to access them, and you've been on this process of accessing them or becoming fully aware of them. And now that you're realizing them, it's almost like, this is like, I want to tell you that you're not good enough. I want to make you feel not good enough so that you'll let it go. Right? I'm going to be greedy. Right? The Six of Coins, when it comes out in the reverse, it's talking about being greedy. I'm going to be greedy because I don't want you to do better than me. Because I'm conceited and I'm the have-all, end-all, be-all. But it's like, when you stop and think about it, if that were the truth, then why, you know, this is just logic speaking, why aren't you somewhere where you're not right now? Right? If you're everything that the world needs, why aren't you a millionaire? If you're everything that the world needs, why aren't you more successful? If you're everything that the world needs, then why aren't you more popular? Like, that's just logic speaking. And also, Pile 3, if this is how they are, why on earth are you taking advice or wanting approval from someone who is not living the life that you want to live? I know, it's dad. I know, I get that. I absolutely understand that. But sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we're going much further than our family ever would. And that means that we have to let go of that, you're my hero. Because sometimes they're really not. Oof. This is rough. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, this is someone who gets very aggressive. This is someone who is very, like I keep hearing unforgiving. Unforgiving is the word that's coming through right now. And they want you to live in fear. They don't want you to see the truth of yourself. This is someone who has gone out of their way to instill fear and anxiety in you with the Eight of Wands here in the reverse in the middle. This is someone who wants to see you experience karma time and time again. Like, it's like they know that your path is bigger than theirs. Like, we have the star here, and I feel like it's meant to be in the upright for you, but they've left you in a place of feeling hopeless and sad and guilty. Guilty is, the star is connected with guilty when it's in the reverse. Guilt that you might do better than they do. Why do you have to carry the guilt, pile 3, for your family not doing better for themselves? Your one job is to take care and do better for yourself. That's it. So why do you need to carry the guilt? And that's just for you to ask yourself, because the answer is going to be different for each of you. But remembering that that's not for you to carry. And if somebody in your family is trying to make you feel guilty, remembering that that has nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with your dad not feeling like he did everything that he could have to actually succeed, or feeling jealous that you were born in the era that you're born in, where things seemingly are easier to be more successful, which is not the case. There were plenty of opportunities to be successful. The problem that you're running into, though, is that someone who is in the sun in reverse, not willing to actually go out and find opportunity. This is someone who's not willing to do that. And so your father wound is dealing with this fear. This is insecurities. Not trusting your psychic abilities, not trusting the gifts that you've been giving, not trusting the talents. You could be a musician. That's coming through here. You could be a musician and you could be writing your own songs, and you have actually incredible songs that people would absolutely adore and love. And you maybe have felt like, oh, I can't do that. Like, because you tried to play a song for your dad once and he just wrote it off like it was no big deal. And you were like, I put my heart and my soul into this. And, you know, it's like, I don't know why they're giving me this example, but cooking, when you're cooking and you put your heart and soul into your food and no one says anything about how it tastes, right? That feels just so crappy. Like no one even said it was good. No one said anything. And it's like, yeah, maybe they ate it all, and that could be an indication that it was good. But just the fact that no one said, hey, this was really good, like we really enjoyed it, it makes you feel like crap, you know? And that's the thing here. It's almost like you've been living in the shadow of your dad for so long. And the secret here is coming out that your dad has always wanted you to fail because he knew that you had more potential than he had, trying to leave you in a karmic cycle. Oh, well, the whole family struggled. You know, we all come from rednecks, or we all come from bums, or we all come from this, or we all come from that. Trying to keep you in a family cycle because seeing you succeed means that you did something that he wasn't able to do. But you know what? You're meant to do something that I feel like you could be a starseed here. You're also someone who shines very bright. But here we have anxiety and fear is taking over. And your fear greatly comes from the way your father treated you. He may have had an anger issue. That is something that's coming through here. Let's get some oracles out for you. Pile 3. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with someone like this. It's not easy. You know, it's not easy, especially when you're made to feel guilty for just trying to do your best, you know? Like, so what if you're better than your dad? It's meant to be that way. And if they don't see it that way, whoa, this card like flipped over and everything. If they don't see it that way, then shame on them. Shame on them. You don't need to carry that guilt. Like, we have Earth on the bottom. Persistence, patience, and practicality. Yeah, just staying persistent on your journey and remembering it takes time and practically showing up. Like, what makes you feel good? And don't worry about getting approval from anybody but yourself. Does this make you feel good? And that's your approval. I feel good doing this. Keep going. Keep going. You're so deserving of so much. And it's hard, you know, because dad is supposed to be the one that is the constructive criticism, right? This is really good. Have you thought about adding this to it too? Like, maybe you should try that. And then that's the inspiration for you to dig deeper. But there's definitely a strategy here. So it tells me that your dad is still around. You may be around your dad a lot. There's a strategy to doing this, not being open about it. Don't be out in the open about this, okay? Keep working on yourself and being strategic. You have to be cunning in this situation. We have number 3, which is creation. Why is this peeking out? Look at that fear and anxiety going from poverty to prosperity. You're about to change something huge in your life. Look, intuition is peeking out too. Yeah, you're about to change something in your life. You're about to become something that no one in your family has ever been. But the saddest thing about it is the one person that you may want to tell is the one person that you're not able to tell, because this person is not going to be happy for you. They're going to make you feel bad. Yeah, you're meant to be a leader. You're meant, pile 3. You know, and the saddest thing is as much as I don't like saying this, but I can absolutely relate to this. I have a family member in my life that's very much like this. Actually, I have a couple of them that are very much like this. We have turn on your heart light. Reflect on a time when you experienced love. 36 coming through here. Exactly. So when was a time that you felt accepted and loved? And if you haven't, then how can you be accepting and loving to yourself so that you can experience love, right? Look, we also have embrace your emotions underneath that. Allow your feelings to surface and be accepted. So all about feeling this, like not feeling guilty for feeling the way that you feel. This one flipped over, we have relationship patterns. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. Number 32, which is 5, that's all about change. But looking at yourself in the mirror here and realizing you don't have to carry these burdens. You don't have to carry this energy of feeling like you have to always stuff yourself into a box because it didn't fit in someone else's agenda. You're a person. You're not a thing that's supposed to fit into somebody's agenda. Okay, like you're not a scheduled item. You're not an appointment. You're not some item that they bought at the store. You are a person with your own beliefs, your own life, your own breath, your own heartbeat. You are a person who is worthy of being seen as a person and not something that fixes my agenda. Cancer, nurture, comfort, and protection. First and foremost, you have to know how protected you are. You are absolutely protected by the divine. Learning to nurture and comfort yourself is very, very important here. Will actually help you open up to your masculine energy by embracing the feminine energy. When you nurture yourself and do self-love and take care of your self-love, it will help you let go of this fear and anxiety. The more you nurture and support yourself, the more you'll find confidence. And as you build that confidence, then the more you'll be able to take action towards whatever this inspiration is that you're fearing, you know. You'll be able to go towards that. Like we have Peregrine Falcon observation here with number 25. Yeah, listen to your intuition coming through here. This is the Eye of Horus, okay? That's what we're talking about here. But observation here, that's what I was saying, strategy as well. Sitting back and observing how someone is treating you before you tell them about what's going on in your life, you know, because not everybody's going to be there for you. You've experienced enough of that where people don't want you to succeed. You deserve having people in your life who want you to succeed. And something big is coming for you, pile 3. Something absolutely huge is about to come in for you. And you're healing a whole heap of a lot, okay? Welcome to Whale Wash. You get a whale of a wash, okay? Like, seriously, you're healing so much. There's so much that's coming through. I feel like you're going to get money, love, a promotion. Like, I feel like you're going to get it all within a couple of weeks or a couple of months of one another. Like, it's all going to happen. And the thing is that when it happens, it's going to be really hard to keep things under wrap, because some of it's going to be out in the open. Like, some of it's going to be things that, like, if it's a relationship, you obviously can't really hide a relationship. I mean, you can. People do. But I'm just telling you, like, there's going to be some things that you're not going to be able to hide, and you're going to see a huge, huge portion of what you've never seen before with the 8th house coming in secrets. I feel like this is a father that would tell stories and lies about you just so that he would appear a certain way. That's what it feels like. And you may not know that, or you may know that, or you may have had an intuitive notion of that, and this is just that confirmation. But this very much feels like someone who uses their children as a means for appearing one way out in public, when behind closed doors, that is not how they are at all. They blame you for the way they feel. They blame you for everything. Their struggles, their hardships, their hurt, their pain, their upsets, their this, their that. May I please have one of these swords? Just one. Okay. They wanted me to talk first before they gave me one. Look, we have number 22 coming out on the bottom. Courage is fear that has said its prayers. Exactly. So being courageous and being brave does not mean that fear goes away. Okay, you say your prayers and you go in spite of your fear. You don't give up just because you're scared, right? You still just continue forward. Oh, you got 2 of these. Okay. So we have 14. We are slow to believe that which if we believed would in turn hurt our feelings. Boom. This is something you didn't want to believe about your father. That's why I was talking about those secrets. Like, that may be something that you've been intuitively guided to quite a bit. And it's just like you keep telling yourself, no, it's just me being whatever. Oh, it's just me feeling down and out, or it's just me feeling depressed or whatever. And it's like sources coming in like, no, like this is something that you really truly are noticing. You're actually feeling their aura. You're feeling their intentions is what's coming through here. And then the other one. Wow. Look, I cannot make this up. We have 2, 2, 2 coming out together here. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same things. That is so profound for you, pile 3. Because the thing is that the right thing for you right now is to draw away from this energy. But that's the hardest thing because there's this fear of if I draw away, I'm doing my family a disservice. Or I'm being rude, or I'm being selfish, or I'm being something that I don't want to be. But the truth of the matter is that drawing away right now is giving yourself space to experience who you are, which is something I don't think you've ever even known or had an opportunity to do because you've always lived in the shadow of this father wound, of this energy. I'm giving you a big hug. Pile 3, a huge hug, okay? And an energetic kiss on the third eye because I feel like you need it. That's what dads are supposed to do. They're supposed to hug us and kiss our third eyes because that's a father. They love us and encourage us. I believe in you and I'm proud of you for coming so far. It's not easy. What you've done is not easy, but remember that all that hardship has shown you exactly how strong you are. You are not a force to be reckoned with, okay? So this is what I see for you. If it resonated, leave a thumbs up. And if you made it this far, leave a green heart down below in the comments, showing others that they're not alone on this journey if they chose pile 3. So we're stronger together, okay? But with that being said, I want to take a second to thank your guides, your angels, your spirit messenger source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this beautiful message for you to remember that you are so incredibly strong. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that here and get on out of here. But until next time, stay human. Bye. Okay, pile 3. I'm so sorry. I was putting everything away, and you know what I realized that we didn't look at was your card. Unfoldment. It was just, I was so excited. I'm sorry. I just had a human moment. I was so excited about the 222 coming out. You're unfolding into this beautiful being, right? This is you becoming exactly what you're meant to become. Look, and I flipped, I was shuffling the deck and this came out on the bottom. I love you. Those are powerful words. I love you. Say this to yourself. You're probably like, Becky, you didn't say the last card. That's why, because you're unfolding, and I feel like, again, you're the sun. You are the sun. You're shining on your own light. You are shining on your own self, and it's time for you to love yourself. It's time for you to understand the beauty of who you are. Like, truthfully, this is you letting go of your south node, and I feel like you letting go of this will let you come right into your north node, and things will look so different. In just a few years, you won't even recognize yourself or who you become for the good, right? Okay, so that, I apologize. I truly apologize, but I wanted to come back on and make sure that you guys got it. Your guys' reading is kind of all over the place, but I definitely feel like that is also conducive to the energy that you've been dealing with. It's just here, it's there, it's everywhere, because connecting with your father energy was rough. It was rough, but I do enjoy these readings because I feel like healing is so important. And that's what I've always used tarot for, is how to heal, not to really find out what other people are doing, but to heal. It's like a very important passion for me. And so that's why I wanted to do this reading. I know they don't get as much views, but I do feel like the messages do impact those that do have the bravery to click on them. So I'm proud of you. You're amazing. Don't forget how incredible you are, because we need your light, pile 3, so much. We need your light. And you need your light. You need it. Okay? I love you, pile 3. Bye.